Okay, let's do this. Let's make a really quick video and dispel some baloney, some hogwash, some unicorn farts, some pixie dust, nonsense. You hear this all the time. People like say, "Hey, I don't like Sony," but Sony uses Nikon uses Sony sensors, and therefore Nikon, you're a bitch to Sony. We'll say something like that. Well, let's talk some facts, girlfriend. Here's the case. Nikon has 4 different suppliers for sensors. Okay, Nikon's top cameras. Nikon D700, that's old. Obviously Nikon D3, D3S, D3X, Nikon D4, D4S, Nikon D5. They don't use Sony sensors. Actually, it used to be Matsushita, which became Panasonic, and now it has some other name that Nikon doesn't like to talk about. But Nikon has 4 suppliers for the camera. But the ultimate nitty-gritty of it is, girlfriend, that, you hear me, girlfriend? Is that Nikon top cameras ain't using Sony sensors. Some say, yeah, you got that Sony sensor in your Nikon. Yeah, some of them do, yeah. Sony knows this, everybody knows this. But here's a fact, girlfriend. Nikon's top cameras, when I say top, I don't mean bottom, I don't mean here, I mean here. Nikon's best cameras don't use Sony sensors. Do you hear that, girlfriend? Do you feel me, girlfriend? Do you feel me? So next time someone says, Nikon uses Sony sensors, go, honey, Nikon's top cameras don't use Sony sensors. And Nikon's, of course, Sony owns them now, but that was a recent acquisition. Sony probably went, damn, they're making better sensors than we are, which is the truth, which is why the D7100 produces better images than the Nikon D72. And the D7200 is, obviously you can correct a lot of the color saturation stuff in post, but anybody that's got a D7100 and D7200 will tell you, damn, the images of D7100 look better right out of the camera. Like if I were to take JPEGs, which I would never shoot JPEGs, shoot RAW, want a digital negative, for latitude and editing, they'll tell you, like, damn, D7100 images look better. This is actually a D7100 sensor, right here. Toshiba makes it, baby. Toshiba. Nikon's best image producers, D700, man, that output is the tits. That was not a Sony sensor. Nikon D3's output, the tits. Not a Sony sensor. Nikon D4S, Nikon D5 coming out, ain't Sony. They ain't Sony sensors, girlfriend. You get that, baby? D7100, D700, D3, D3X, D3S, D4, D4S, Nikon D5. Next time someone that tells you that, say, girlfriend, those are not Sony sensors. They're not. So like next time someone Nikon rolls out a camera, like, has it got a Sony sensor in it? It's like, yeah, well, I don't want it. I'll stick to the other sensors that Nikon uses, which are in their top-end cameras, not down here or down here, but up here. Okay. The good stuff up here is not Sony, but down here we got Sony sensors used in Nikon cameras. Up here, no. Up down here, no. You get that? Jeez, isn't that weird? Jeez. Someone said, Nikon uses Sony sensors. Yeah, they do in some of their cameras. You know what else? What? Nikon's customers prefer the outputs of the cameras that don't use Sony sensors. Stick that in your damn pipe and smoke it until you turn green, okay? Sony!